Why do 90% of tech headlines claim robots will take your job? And why does it seem like every week there's a new story warning us about the rise of the machines? It's almost impossible to scroll through your feed without seeing a dramatic headline about robots replacing humans, taking over entire industries, or even threatening our very way of life. But if you dig a little deeper, you'll notice something strange. While the media loves to stoke our fears, the experts, the people actually building these robots, are telling a very different story. The disconnect between what's being reported and what's actually happening in robotics labs is huge, and it's only getting wider as the hype machine ramps up. It's easy to get swept up in the drama, but what's the real story behind the headlines? So, what's really going on? Why is there such a massive gap between what we read in the headlines and what the people in the know are actually saying? Are we on the brink of a robot revolution, or is this all just a case of overblown hype? The truth is, the world of robotics is full of nuance, setbacks, and breakthroughs that rarely make it into the news cycle. The people who spend their lives working on these machines have a much more grounded, and sometimes sobering perspective on what's possible, and what's just wishful thinking. Let's bust some robot myths before the bubble bursts. Because, as it turns out, the truth about humanoid robots is a lot more complicated, and a lot more fascinating, than the headlines would have you believe. There's a world of difference between a viral video and a working, reliable product. And if you look past the clickbait, you'll find a story that's as much about human ingenuity and persistence as it is about technology. Humanoid robots are everywhere these days. You've seen them on TikTok, showing off their dance moves, or in viral videos where they pour coffee, do backflips, or even try to play soccer. News outlets can't get enough of them, and every tech expo seems to feature at least one robot strutting its stuff for the cameras. It's easy to get swept up in the excitement and start imagining a future where robots are as common as smartphones. The spectacle is captivating. These robots seem to promise a world where technology is not just functional, but fun, relatable, and even a little bit magical. But behind every viral moment is a team of engineers sweating the details, and a reality that's far less glamorous than the highlight reel. Tech giants are pouring billions into developing robot assistants, promising us a world where we'll have robot coworkers, robot butlers, and maybe even robot best friends. The marketing is slick, the prototypes are impressive, and the promises are huge. But how much of this is real, and how much is just clever PR? Companies know that a flashy robot demo can generate headlines, attract investors, and boost their brand. But the gap between a staged demonstration and a robot that can handle the chaos of real life is enormous. For every robot that pours a perfect cup of coffee on stage, there are dozens that spill, freeze, or simply refuse to cooperate when the cameras aren't rolling. Pause. Playful. But is it all just hype? Are we really on the verge of living in a world straight out of science fiction? Or are we being sold a fantasy that's still decades away from reality? The truth is, the robots we see today are often more about entertainment and spectacle than practical utility. Sure, they can dance, wave, and even crack a joke or two, but can they handle the unpredictable, messy, and sometimes dangerous world we live in? Not quite yet. The dream of a robot that can seamlessly integrate into our daily lives is still just that, a dream. Here's the twist. Legendary roboticist Dr. Gil Pratt, who spent decades at the cutting edge of robotics research, says the humanoid robot bubble is about to burst. According to Dr. Pratt, the reality behind the scenes is far less glamorous than what you see on stage or in viral videos. He's not alone. Many leading experts in the field are sounding the alarm about unrealistic expectations and the dangers of overhyping the technology. They warn that the public's fascination with humanoid robots is outpacing what the technology can actually deliver, and that a reckoning is coming. According to him, current designs are expensive, fragile, and way overpromised. Ouch. The robots you see in those flashy demos, they're often carefully choreographed, running on scripts, and surrounded by teams of engineers ready to jump in if something goes wrong. The truth is, building a robot that can move, react, and adapt like a human is one of the hardest engineering challenges out there. Even the most advanced robots are still a long way from matching the flexibility, resilience, and adaptability of a human being. And when things go wrong, and they often do, it's a reminder of just how far we still have to go. Just look around, robots wobbling, tripping, or breaking down on camera. For every viral video of a robot nailing a dance routine, there are dozens of bloopers where things go hilariously wrong. These machines are incredibly complex, and even the smallest glitch can send them tumbling to the ground. It's not just funny, it's a sign of how difficult it is to build machines that can handle the real world. Every fall, every malfunction, is a lesson in humility for the engineers and a reality check for the rest of us. Building robots that look and move like us? Super tricky. Human bodies are the result of millions of years of evolution, and replicating that level of balance, dexterity, and adaptability is a monumental task. Every joint, every sensor, every line of code has to work perfectly together, or the whole system falls apart. Even simple tasks, like picking up a cup or walking across a room, require a level of coordination and feedback that's incredibly hard to program. And when you add in the unpredictability of the real world, the challenge becomes even greater. It's not just about making a robot that can move, it's about making one that can adapt, learn, and recover from mistakes just like we do. They cost a fortune, break easily, and honestly, they're not ready to replace humans anytime soon. The price tag for a state-of-the-art humanoid robot can run into the hundreds of thousands if not millions of dollars. And even then, they require constant maintenance, frequent repairs, and a team of specialists just to keep them running. For most companies and households, the cost and complexity just don't make sense. Until robots can match the reliability and affordability of other machines, they'll remain a niche curiosity rather than a mainstream solution. So does this mean all robots are doomed? Not even close. In fact, while humanoid robots are struggling to find their place, other types of robots are quietly revolutionizing industries behind the scenes. Think about the robots in factories, warehouses, and hospitals. Machines designed for specific tasks, not for looking or acting like humans. These robots are the unsung heroes of the automation revolution, working tirelessly to move goods, assemble products, and perform dangerous or repetitive tasks that humans would rather avoid. Delivery bots, drones, and warehouse robots are actually thriving. These robots don't need to walk like us or mimic our every move. They just need to get the job done. And in many cases, they're doing it faster, safer, and more efficiently than any human could. By focusing on specific problems and environments, these robots are able to deliver real value without the need for human-like bodies or personalities. They're not trying to be us, they're just trying to help. In hospitals, robots are delivering medicine and supplies, reducing the risk of infection and freeing up staff for more important work. On farms, robots are planting, watering, and harvesting crops with incredible precision. Even in the depths of the ocean, robots are exploring places humans could never reach. These are the real robot success stories, quietly transforming our world, one task at a time. And as these specialized robots get better, they're opening up new possibilities for what machines can do, from disaster response to environmental monitoring and beyond. It's just the dream of a human-like robot helper that might need a reality check. The idea of a robot that can do everything a human can, cook, clean, care for the elderly, and keep us company, sounds amazing. But the technology just isn't there yet, and it might be a long time before it is. The challenges are immense and progress is slow. But that doesn't mean we should give up on the dream, it just means we need to be realistic about how long it will take and what it will cost to get there. But hey, tech never stands still. Maybe someday robots will finally figure it out. The history of technology is full of breakthroughs that seemed impossible, until suddenly, they weren't. Just because humanoid robots are struggling now doesn't mean they'll never succeed. With every failure, engineers learn something new, and the next generation of robots gets a little bit better. The path to progress is rarely a straight line, and sometimes the biggest leaps come from the most unexpected places. Who knows, maybe the next big breakthrough is just around the corner. Pause. Upbeat. Until then, let's enjoy the wild ride and watch a few more robots trip over their own feet. There's something oddly charming about watching these high-tech machines struggle with the basics, like toddlers learning to walk. They remind us that progress is messy, unpredictable, and sometimes hilarious. Every stumble is a step forward, and every failure is a lesson learned. So the next time you see a robot fall flat on its face, remember, it's all part of the journey. And if you want to stay ahead of the next robot hype, keep your eyes open, question the headlines, and remember that the real story is always more interesting than the marketing pitch. The future of robotics is being written right now, in labs and workshops all over the world, and you don't want to miss what happens next. The next chapter in robotics might not be about humanoid helpers at all. It could be about machines that solve problems we haven't even thought of yet, or that work alongside us in ways we can't yet imagine. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications. That way, you'll be the first to know when robots finally stop tripping and start changing the world for real. The journey is just beginning, and the future is wide open. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and get ready for a front row seat to the next big leap in robotics.